Kostya, we can see some Christmas decorations behind us, and there's a new album that you have coming out. But today, we're talking about a little bit of backstory with some compositions that you've done in the past. And one of my favorites, all-time favorites, is what you're going to talk about right now, First Touch. And just take over. Tell us kind of where were you when you first thought about that, about composing it?
Well, I was working on my first album, Sweet St. Petersburg. Just sitting in my apartment, just noodling. I always noodle, trying to come up with something. And first thing which actually came to my mind was this probably first memory I have, or one of the first memories I have. See, I grew up in St. Petersburg and was raised by my grandma, because my parents were, at the time, were in Germany. They were working at a Russian theater in Berlin. And they were thinking about taking me, but KGB was not very happy about that. They said, no, he's going to stay, insurance policy, obviously. So I was kind of left behind, if you will, with my grandma. And until I was 7 years old, she raised me really from the age of 2. For 5 years we were together. And I remember, well, first of all, our apartment in St. Petersburg is located literally like 100 yards from Kirov Ballet, which is a world-renowned ballet, obviously. Wow. Literally 100 yards. And all this history, Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff, it all was happening over there. Conservatory right across the street. And I remember in the winter, we were going, my grandma and myself, we were going to see Nutcracker in Kirov Ballet. Well, I don't know, maybe I was 3 years old or maybe I was 4 years old. I don't really remember. But I remember I was holding my grandma's hand like that. I was little, obviously, and it was just really magical. We were going to see Nutcracker. I already was totally in love with music. We had this little tiny radio in our apartment, which was called Radio Tochka, which means like radio point, if you will. So it's just centralized kind of thing. It was broadcasting this music. And some programs, but mostly music. A lot of classical music and folk music. And I was totally enamored by it. Sometimes I would just crank it, but sometimes I would plug the phones, this old ebony, whatever it's ebonite or ebonite, yeah, probably what it is, like massive headphones, and I was just listening to this music. Standing on the chair, by the way, because radio was really high up. And so I had to climb on the chair.
And she had headphones.
Yeah, but back then, like really old style, very, very heavy headphones.
Still, right?
Yeah, and there's even a picture somewhere in our house in St. Petersburg of me standing with these headphones. I think it was only one single headphone, you just hold it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and listening to the music. I was standing on this chair, listening to music, I could do it for hours. So I was really in love, truly. And I remember going with my grandma. Grandma was not even 5 feet tall, probably. But to me, she was really big. I was holding her hand. I felt so safe. We were going to see Nutcracker. And I remember snow crunching under my feet, and it was magical. It seems like, you are going to see Nutcracker. What's the big deal? But for some reason, this memory stuck with me forever. One of the strongest probably memories, and I remember how happy I feel. And I remember holding my grandma's hand, and we had this incredible connection, heart-to-heart connection. She really loved to sing. Yeah. When I learned how to play piano, and I even don't remember learning it actually, I just kind of figured it out myself. First thing I started doing, I started accompanying her singing. So she would sing a song, and I would accompany her on the piano.
Well, you've always said that music is everybody reads what they want to into it. For me, it does have just almost immediately, for me, I'm hearing a memory. Just, I mean, and a good one. A fond memory.
Very happy fond. Yeah.
Well, so let's hear you play it, if you will.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.